Hello, and welcome to the Business Advocate Podcast. I am your host, Russell Carrier. I am the owner of First Choice Business Brokers of East Tennessee in Nashville. Welcome back to the show. Today's show is going to be about marketing. And I know what you're thinking and saying in your cars and listening into your pods and earbuds. Another marketing episode? Yes, absolutely. Why? Because this is what I get asked all the time. Can you please bring on somebody else to talk about marketing? Because this is one of the key elements of every business. So, my guest today is Len Silverman, the co founder of Up to 11 Marketing. And what he's going to talk about is the three key points every business owner needs to know. Welcome to the show, Len.
Thanks, Russell. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, just to kind of give everybody an idea, can you give just a brief history of your background?
Yeah, sure. My education is in marketing. Got an MBA from Emory in Atlanta in marketing and started my career in corporate marketing. So I was a brand manager for Angel Soft Bath Tissue with Georgia Pacific. I ran a marketing department for a $100 million manufacturing company called Scoville Fasteners and ended my corporate career with Fruit of the Loom as vice president of marketing for their wholesale division. After that, I went into business for myself. And for the last 20 years, I've owned and operated a number of Huntington Learning Center locations. Um, and I decided at this hopefully last phase of my career to take everything that I've learned, which is a combination of all the marketing background that I have, plus the realities of business ownership, and combine those into what I own now, which is Up to 11 Marketing, which is a strategic marketing firm.
Excellent. So, you're not one of these people that just decided one day to become a marketing professional.
No, no, it's been a long and winding road.
So, you have a little bit of experience, obviously. And so, the point I'm trying to make here, you have, my guess is over 30 years of experience.
That's yeah, that's about right.
Okay. So, and when I'm driving home is I want everybody to take notes. Len is somebody that has been doing this a long time, and he's somebody you want to listen to. So get ready. Here we go. Len, what are the three key points every business owner needs to know?
Well, I will tell you, Russell, I've actually kind of thought about that question some, and I'm an analogy guy. So the analogy that I've come up with is it's sort of like if you listen to modern music, most of the modern music everybody enjoys is basically three chords. And so throughout the song, they're playing essentially the same three chords, and then they change it up with different lyrics and melodies and things like that, which is ultimately what we come to enjoy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break marketing down to its simplest and truest form because, quite honestly, with all the new tools and technologies and AI and social media and everything that's available to you, it still really basically boils down to three core things. The first is you got to know your customer. Okay. That sounds simple, but you've got to break into that and really understand that we're not simply talking about anyone who will buy from you. We're talking about who is your ideal customer, who's the person you really want to do business with. And it's more than simply saying, oh, well, I work with small business owners. Okay, well, that's good and that's a good start. But that's like saying, today I want to go fishing. I don't exactly know what kind of fish I want to go after. So I'm just going to hit the lake and hope for the best. The reality is, what I know is I want to catch bass and I want to catch good sized bass. So how do I do that? Where's the honey hole that they hang out in? What kind of bait do I need to use? And I don't want to make it seem predatory, like we're out there, trying to hunt for these people, but it is a reasonable analogy. At the end of the day, you want to take a look at your own business and look at where you drive the most efficient parts of your business and then identify those customers that are bringing you that. Now, let's replicate them. What is it about them? So it's not a small business owner alone. It's probably, let's say for my business, it is an overwhelmed small business owner, someone who's trying to be the chief cook and bottle washer and do
Mhm.
everything and carry the team on their back. And when we talk about small business owner, a lot of times we're talking about or we're thinking about like a solopreneur. It doesn't have to be. I mean, you could be a company of 15, 20, 30 full-time employees, but I know a lot of these owners and they still try to carry the team on their back. So I've got a deeper understanding of both the demographic and the psychographic of that customer. So that's critical. The second thing is
Hold
you've
on.
got to know what.
Let's stop here
Okay.
on the first one.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is when you say know your customer, you're digging deep, right?
Yeah.
And every
Yeah.
business is different, every industry is different. So, and I know I've been through this, and you and I have discussed this even for my business. And when you really start thinking about it, and it's hard to do by yourself. I'm being perfectly honest. So
You
when
mean to
I
have
break,
that view of your own business. That is difficult. I
correct,
agree.
who is my true target audience for my business? And you and I had this conversation 2 weeks ago, and he started asking me the questions. And you're like,
Yeah, I
well,
can't
who is
help
it
it.
truly? And I answered you like, no, 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 no. That's too broad. Let's dig it down, bring it down. Who is it really? So I gave you another, no, 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 no. No, come on, Russ. Let's bring it down. Who is it really? What is it really, truly that you're going after? And I've had this conversation in my own head 100 times. So having somebody that is a professional in marketing to truly ask you those questions, I think every owner will be surprised on their answers and what they really don't understand about who they're truly going after.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that having a guide in this process and someone who is outside of your business is extremely helpful. It's like a doctor diagnosing themselves. It's difficult to do. Um, and having a professional who knows the questions to ask for or to ask is really critical in getting that clear understanding. Because once you start to really see that customer, you can't unsee them, and then everything you do revolves around that. Ultimately, you have two precious resources. You got your money and you got your time. And at the end of the day, when you have really identified who is going to help you grow your business the most efficiently, you're saving both. Because early on, everybody knows this. When you're starting a new business, you'll work with just about anybody because you kind of have to, right? I mean, you have to keep the lights on. You gotta pay the rent. Maybe you've got employees you need to pay. We've all done that. But over time, you start to get a sense of who's really good to work with and who I'd love not to necessarily go down that road again. So it's really a matter of refining that so that you're ultimately really going after and attracting only those customers that stand the chance of bringing you the best business. So
Okay.
that's step one.
So just I'm asking even for myself. So as a business grows, the customer could actually change.
Yeah, the customer could definitely change. There's also opportunities for you to potentially offer more products and services depending on what you're seeing going on with those customers. So you might change as well. Um, that's the thing about marketing. It is not a set it and forget it science. It really requires constant work. And I think that's why you get all the questions that you do, because someone may have felt like they solved the problem 2 years ago. Well, that was 2 years ago, and things are different. The market is different. Their needs are different. So it really requires constant management and then, quite honestly, A/B testing to make sure that what you're doing is really resonating the way that you want it to.
Awesome. That is a key star. Write that down. You have to review your marketing. Everybody that's listening, it isn't a set it and forget it. All right. We'll go on to the key point 2 now.
Key point 2, everybody's got a problem. You've got to understand what the problem is with those targeted customers of yours. I hope, I really do, I hope that everyone who's gotten into business for themselves did it because they truly want to help someone, either through a product or a service they're offering. And I think that is true amongst the business owners that I work with. I definitely hear that from them. So we all got into business because we want to help people solve a problem. You have to understand that problem, and you have to understand it in great detail, because your perspective on it is different than the person who's living it every day. Okay. And I'm saying, as someone who provides a product or service, your perspective is different necessarily from the people who are using that product or service. So you got to understand where they are coming from. Okay. So let me give you an example. We've all gone to the networking events, right? And I know you have, Russ. You all go to the networking events, and someone stands up and they say, "Hi, I'm Joe Smith, and I'm the owner of Joe Smith's insurance company. We are your all-inclusive insurance solution." Great. Okay.
Great.
What did that do for me? So, I'm a full service dry cleaner. Okay. But I've got a problem that I'm trying to solve. And when it comes to insurance, I think, there's a natural inclination to think we're all trying to solve the problem of expense. Well, not necessarily, right? I mean, ask the people out in California right now. And if they're feeling like, wow, I'm really glad I saved some money on my homeowner's insurance, I think the first thing they're thinking is, does my homeowner's insurance cover everything that I just lost? They may not have had that perspective, but we as business owners sometimes have to help our clients to, similar to what I did with you and identifying your ideal client. Sometimes we have to help them dig down to what the true problem is that they're looking to solve. But you have to thoroughly understand that. And when I talk about A/B testing, that's probably where it comes into play more than not. Is I'm offering up a solution to a problem that I think is your problem, but you got to put it out there and see what resonates. And sometimes it can be one turn of phrase that makes it work or not work. But that's the constant job of any company, is to consistently refine the problem that those ideal clients are trying to solve. So that's step 2.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is, and I'm going to use your same analogy of networking, and the person gets up and says, I provide full service insurance for everybody. But as we're sitting there out there in the audience, and you said, great. So now you just compared yourself to the other 40 that are sitting here and going to stand up and say the same thing. And I'm thinking, and then, I mean, because you and I, as you mentioned, we go to a lot of networking groups and we hear these folks. I'm thinking in the back of my head, so I wonder if they can solve X. I wonder if they have coverage for X, not just personal, but I wonder if they do business. And we don't know. So if this is the marketing that you're doing on a grand scale, we have a total solution, and that's all you're saying, who are you really addressing?
Yeah. And in general, being vague doesn't really work very well in marketing. I think Nike could say, just do it and get away with it. They've spent enough money to support that. But, if I stood up and I had an athletic shoe company and I was in a networking group and they said, what do you do? And I say, just do it. I don't know if that's going to necessarily work or resonate in the room. So I would err, if I'm a small to medium sized business, I would err on being a little bit more specific about what you do. And more importantly, always put it in terms of the problem that you're solving. This is not what I do. This is what I do to help you get to where you want to go. Because if you have not made that connection, at the end of the day, and you know this, Russ, if they have not made that connection, you are not going to race up to them and ask them follow-up questions. Right. So
Right.
if you walk out of there wondering if that insurance company covers home and auto, you're going to wonder it. You're not going to go step up there and have a conversation with them because they didn't say anything that really connected with you as a potential consumer.
Yep.
So it's very important to be specific and identify the most important problem that you're trying to solve for your customers. because you probably solve many or multiple, but you really want to focus on the one that is the most important to your customer.
Excellent. And I'm gonna use your other analogy, the dry cleaner,
Mm,
right? There's a ton of dry cleaners out there. How do you differentiate yourself? When I go to a dry cleaner, I usually have a stain on my shirt because I'm eating a hamburger as I'm driving, and a little
right,
mustard comes off, right? Because we're always in a hurry. And my thought is, and what I want to know, are they going to get that stain out,
right.
right? And I actually met a dry cleaner, an owner, and their advertisement was, yes, we clean your clothes, but we're going to tighten up your buttons. We're going to fix any buttons that are missing because we know that's important for you to wear your garment the next time.
Smart. Yeah, that's smart.
And it's an extra step, right? Now
Mhm.
they just differentiated themselves from the other 10 in their local area.
Yeah,
And needless to
absolutely.
say, that's where I brought my shirts,
Right, right.
right?
And you know what I was going to say, and this is a perfect segue into really the third part is you've got to understand your solution and be able to differentiate your solution from everybody else. So you're hitting the nail on the head. You know, if I go to a dry cleaner, which I've done many times over the years, and you get a shirt back and they crack the button, it's super frustrating. And you know, and he's that dry cleaner is right. That's part of the service that I look for is I want the shirt to be crisp and wearable the next time. I don't want to have to worry that the button on my cuff just broke off. So he's smart. And again, you know, you go to the example you used about getting a little mustard on your shirt. So if that was the only time you went to the dry cleaner when you had something egregious like that happen, you're not the ideal customer, right? So it's important for them to say, yeah, we can really tackle tough stains better than anyone else. But the customer they're looking for is somebody who's going to come back every week and
Right.
become almost a subscriber for them. What is that customer looking for? And that's different. That's more this concierge service you're talking about. You know, I used to use a guy way back when. I miss him a lot now because he would do my dress shirts and then fold them up and put tissue paper between the ones that were folded up. And it was just that little touch versus getting it on the wire hanger that was really it was really nice and
Yes.
made me want to keep coming back. And I knew I was paying more, and that's critical. If you do the three things that I'm talking about, if you identify your ideal customer, you understand the biggest problem that they are trying to solve, and you help them to understand that not only can you solve it, but you solve it better than anybody else, you can charge premium prices and they're going to keep coming to you. They're no longer price shopping.
Uh, And I want to tackle that real quick. I think you're hitting the head, especially in the current economy and what we're all experiencing. And I don't really care what industry it is. The lack of customer service
Mm.
that is being brought out to the consumer, and the consumers are extremely frustrated because they are paying for a service.
Yes.
And
Yeah. The idea
you
that
said it.
Karen didn't just come out of the woodwork.
Yeah.
It's been coming for a long time.
Yep. And you said it. You don't mind paying a little bit more for that additional value in customer service that you receive. And I'm the same way. I don't mind paying extra for the tissue paper between my shirts, having my shirts folded so I can easily put them in my suitcase for
Right.
travel.
Right.
And again, instead of a hanger, it makes all the difference. And I don't mind. And that goes across the board. I will go to restaurants that have friendly service versus somebody who doesn't want to be there and they basically tell you that through their actions. I will go to a convenience store that is clean and the people behind the counter are friendly
Yeah.
versus the
Yeah.
one
I mean,
that's
a great example of that. is these guys,
Yeah,
Buc-ee's,
there
right?
you
I
go.
mean, they've
Now,
taken the world by storm.
asterisk,
And what?
we are not promoting Bucky's in any way, shape, or form.
No, we're
Len
not. We're
just held
using
up
them
the
as an
cup.
example.
I have to
No,
put
but
that out there.
I get it. But the thing about them is, if you look at the kind of incredible growth that they've had, think about what it is that they promote: really clean bathrooms, tons of gas pumps available, and really good jerky. It is really good. But the point is, you can stop a lot of places when you're on the road to get gas. But what they've done is they've created an environment that's really inviting. It becomes part of your trip now. I know people that carve 30 minutes out of their travel time to make sure they can spend it in a Bucky's.
Yeah,
That's their clientele. Now, if you are Russell and you're eating a burger in the car because you're in a hurry, you might not stop at Bucky's. It isn't always the fastest thing in the world, even with
right.
all the pumps that they've got. You may go to a quick trip, a clean one that you know. Um,
Yep.
so again, it just kind of depends on the client that you're trying to attract. And that was a point I wanted to make too. When we're talking about this, it sounds like everything that I'm saying needs to be a premium offering. And that is not true. I mean, you look at a Walmart, for instance. Walmart absolutely is all about everyday low pricing. Their customers are looking for the lowest prices. They're not looking for a big, helpful staff to go through the men's department and help you pick out the best t-shirt. They want to go in there and know, and I say t-shirt because we used to with Fruit of the Loom sell to them. They want to go in there and find a t-shirt that is good quality and at a very reasonable price. That's their customer. So they're
Mm-hmm.
going to, and they've done a great job, they're going to create a company around that delivers that promise every day to their clients. So it goes back to what I was saying before is you've got to understand your client and who represents the best opportunity for you and then solve their biggest problem and be their best solution to that problem. If you can do
Yes.
those three things, the rest of it really starts working itself out.
So if you've been a listener of the Business Advocate podcast on the previous marketing, we actually touched on if you are knowing your customer, you're solving a problem, but and then you blow it based on the way you actually truly are and the way you operate, you just threw away a ton of money in marketing
Yeah.
because you're bringing in the wrong customer to the way you truly operate. And that goes back to what you were just saying, Len. If you are not the premium business and that's not who you intend to be, don't advertise it
No, no.
because the word of mouth on that travels quickly and it'll actually hurt your business because of the marketing that you're doing.
More than ever, you have to be truthful with customers and consumers. I think you always needed to do that, but more than ever, you're going to get caught and called out if you're not. The tools
Yep.
are there and they're too easy to use. So it is critical to do that. And the other thing I would say too, we're talking specifically about marketing, which I believe is at the cornerstone of every business. But what I'm finding, and my company is beginning to move in this direction, is to your point, once we identify all those things, a lot of times it becomes operational issues and sales issues. So I'm now helping companies with that as well because you've got to deliver on the promise. And if your company's not structured properly to do that, all that money, all that goodwill, all that time is going to be wasted. So it really it becomes the fundamental driver of other things that are ultimately going to manage your business to be the most effective it
Yes. Know yourself,
can be. Yeah.
right? Know
Yeah.
what you are. And
And
yeah,
what you're not.
if you decide when you're talking to Len that you're going to put this premium image out there, then you are, and I don't want to throw Walmart under the bus, but the Walmart in your industry, yes, you need to change your image, right? Before you
Yes.
go to market. So
Yes.
that excellent point, Len. Um, if you're going to market that you are this specific thing, make sure your business shows it.
Yes. Yeah, that's critical.
Awesome.
And just know you can always change. You can. I mean,
Yeah.
if that is not who you are today, but that's who you aspire to be, you can do it. Um, all it takes, as an engineer friend of mine once said, all it takes is time and money. You can do anything you want, and I think that is true. Um, but it's like any journey. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step, and
Right.
it's important to nail these first three things that we've talked about. And once you really identify, who do I want to do business with, and what is the problem I'm solving, and how am I best situated to solve that problem, then you look internally and make sure that you can do the things that you want to
Awesome. Len, I think you just did my summary for me.
do. Just trying to make your job easy for you, right?
And I appreciate that.
Sure.
So, I mean, I am very happy Len joined us today. Um, Len and we've known each other now, what, 6 months? Maybe
Yeah, a little
longer?
more,
Maybe
but
yeah,
yeah.
a little bit more than that. And Len is a great resource. He's been a great resource for me. Um, this is kind of a blessing that he was able to come on and give these 3 points, and I greatly appreciate it. As I say every time we do a broadcast, if you like what you heard, please hit that like button. If you want to hear more of these type of episodes, please subscribe. And the biggest thing, if you have any comments, please make them. Let me know what you would like to hear about, because this channel is for you. Um, we don't get paid to do this. We don't have sponsors. We don't want
Wait.
sponsors.
I don't get paid to do this.
You don't get paid. I'll take you to lunch someday.
Now I know.
So this is for you. We will never bring on sponsors. We will never have advertisers. We want this for business owners to learn about things they may not know about. So with that, Len, thank you so much for your time. If people have questions, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, our website is up to11marketing.com. You could always reach me. My name is Len, Len, at up to11marketing.com. That's my email. Or you can call us at 615-851-8767. Any one of those three will work.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who is listening. We greatly appreciate it. If you want to see what we look like and not just hear us, you will find us on YouTube. And it's the Business Advocate Podcast. You do a search and we'll be right there. So thank you, everybody. We hope you have a great day, and we hope you are successful. My name is Russell Carrier, and you've been listening to the Business Advocate Podcast.